Stuart, a disappointing result on Sunday. What are your thoughts on the game?
No different from what I said post-match, really. And I think if you ask any one of the players, they'll tell you the exact same thing. We understand that we've made life really difficult for ourselves. When you play against good teams, when you play at the highest level in this country, I'm stating the obvious here. Everyone that's seen the goals that we've conceded in the last two games will notice and will see that they're self-inflicted. Two set plays and for me, four really avoidable goals at times when we're in possession, gifting up the ball, poor decision making, etc, etc. So what we can do is we can sit and we can stew on it, or we identify what the problem is. For me, I don't believe that the problem is technically, tactically. I think it's decision making. I think it's just that process that you go through in your head as a player of what your action is going to be at that point. And I come back to firmly the aspect which is I'm not concerned about that, because the individuals have shown me that they can make the correct decisions, and they can do that repeatedly, be it defending dead balls, defending set plays, or what we do within open play. And that's not for me to sweep it under the carpet. It's just simply that we need to get back to doing what we were previously. That's not to absolve me of any blame, or the coaching staff of any blame either, but we do work with an honest group. I say that most weeks here, and they acknowledge that we as a team have put ourselves into those positions, and therefore it's we as a team that take ourselves back out yet. We don't want a favour. We don't want anybody to feel sorry for us. We're not asking for any divine intervention. We understand how to solve those problems.
Yeah, and you mentioned on Sunday as well, the games are coming around thick and fast, and the players will be eager to get back on the pitch and put those things right. Is there any updates on the injury worries that maybe came around on Sunday with the substitutions?
Yeah, I think it'd be fair to say that the two guys that came off at half time will be serious doubts for this weekend. We are continuing to make sure that we get timelines on them and find out exactly what the issue is. We know the area of the body that they're struggling with, but it's just to find out what that timeline's going to be on those players. That obviously compounds a situation where we've obviously lost a lot of big players. We lose, being level at half time, we lose two of our back five on Sunday, but that's the situation, that's what it is. So I always see it as an opportunity for somebody else to step forward and replace them. We've had plenty of guys that are desperate to go on the pitch, desperate to be a part of it. Not but sort of 10-11 days ago when we were sitting in a pretty decent run, really good start to the season. I still see it as that. It's just that we've obviously had two major hiccups in between. So now those opportunities present themselves, and from that, I genuinely believe in some of the players that have not had as much opportunity. I genuinely believe they can step forward and show the same level of quality. I think I could have made one of 3, 4, 5, 6 different decisions when we were winning games pre sort of international break, and we might have got the same outcome. So that's what we look towards on Wednesday, and then even further towards Saturday.
Yeah, and you mentioned there Wednesday night back at Rugby Park under the lights, the home fans. How excited are you to get back to hopefully winning ways at home with the fans behind you?
Yeah, it's another big game of football. I can't think of one fixture that would come about that wouldn't have a bit of excitement, that wouldn't have a bit of drama in it. We face Aberdeen. They're absolutely one of the biggest clubs in the country. They're a team that have invested very, very heavily in their playing squad. You look at the wealth of riches that they've got throughout their group. So it's going to be a proper test, no matter what anybody wants to think. The last two games we've played, Hearts, we're flying. We play against Rangers at Ibrox. You don't get a pass. You don't get any easy week. You don't get a week where you just have to turn up and win a game of football. For anything that we've had this season, we've had to work exceptionally hard from it. We've had to be really well organised defensively, and we've had to handle the ball well. And I go back to it, as much as the errors that we've had in the last couple of games, I don't feel we've handled the ball as well as what we have done as well, which can often take that threat of the mistakes and the errors in the wrong areas of the pitch. It can take it away if we handle the ball better. So there's a couple of messages for me that we need to we need to become more confident again in possession, because I don't feel we've seen too many patterns that we would work on and we would expect in the last couple of games. And I think if we do that, we carry a threat at the front end, which starts to, as I say, negate the bit where you start to worry if you're going to make an error in your own final third of the pitch. So that's absolutely something we have been and will be working towards again today. and as I say, it's for us, it's just to restore that wee bit of confidence in the players, to encourage them to be able to do that.
Yep. Stuart, can I take you back to the injuries at half time? Can you tell us about that?
Twofold for Jamie Brandon. He's actually feeling his ankle and his groin. I would say pretty significant injuries at this point. And Lewis Mayo, it's a calf complaint that he's got. So the week before against Hearts, he missed a couple of days with what felt like a dead calf. So it feels like it's a bit of a reoccurrence of that.
And the guys that are out, are they likely to come back?
No, I think what we've got is that I think the only one that missed at the weekend was Kyle McGuinness, who was feeling a wee bit of muscle complaint, but he's been back on the pitch in training, so I would imagine all going well today, we welcome him back into the group as well.
Back to the game, what have you made of Aberdeen's form this season?
I think we've seen a change in their setup. I think first and foremost, when you look at it, I think they had a little bit of a shift in system, probably from what they were angling towards at the start of the season. I picked them up a couple of good victories. Going away to St Mirren and winning the game and getting a clean sheet probably tells you you've really done something right. We all know how hard it is within that fixture, and I get the story of the European games and or the European game I should say last week, where they concede too many goals probably for their liking, but we're under no illusion. I think we've spent a lot of time post sort of Rangers on Sunday having a look at Aberdeen in great detail. We had done a little bit before the game as well. They carry numerous threats throughout their team. They have some real quality, and I think if we allow them to get their key players in possession of the ball, then they can hurt us. They can absolutely cause us a problem. Probably difficult again to assess who's actually going to play for them, because again I go back to it, there's several options in the striker positions, several options in those attacking three positions, several options in the middle of the park. So I think the one place that they maybe don't have as many options to change things is across the back line, but certainly middle to forward area, they've got plenty to go on.
You're in 8th, but you're only 3 points off 4th. It's a tight league.
It's a crazy league, isn't it? As you win a couple of games, the picture looks great. You lose a couple of games, you see yourself fall in a few positions, and I think that's where it's really important not to focus too much on the league. I think it's most important to centre on your performances and what you can get and the outcome of your performances, because I say that I feel that the league's going to fluctuate between now and the end of the season. Time and time again, you feel you're splitting hairs between a lot of the clubs. So I think our focus is purely to get back into a position where we're looking to keep clean sheets, that we're looking to carry a threat going forward, and give ourselves a base and give ourselves a fighting chance in a game of football.
On another note, one of your colleagues departed last night. Show you how Scottish football is. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I was in the car coming home for a game of football. I was out watching my son play later last night, and you've got the radio on, and it was kind of breaking news on the way home, and we're dissecting his game, and that came through, and I was genuinely shocked. I really was. I certainly don't want to go into start to comment about the situation, the scenario. I think all we can ever do at this point is, and you guys will generally ask us about, a manager going, and understand why that's the case. All I can say is it's a man in Brendan Rodgers that's been nothing but absolute class. Anytime I've crossed paths with him, be it exchanging the odd message here and there, be it coming in and properly giving you his time after games of football. Every time we've played against him, you sit and you chew the fat about what you've got in the go and what your challenges are, and finding out a little bit from his side of things, and that's over his 2 spells for me, I would need to say, as a manager, inviting me in to come and spend time with him when I'd come out of my last job, etc. So I think all those little things, we're all quite quick to jump on the negatives. I would like to be one that steps forward and says that I think he's a first class manager, and to my mind he's always come across a first class human being. And I think for us in Scotland, I think we've had a top level manager over 2 spells at Celtic, and I think his achievements have indicated that as well. So sad to see him go. I understand that each club has their own scenarios and decisions to make. I'm only speaking from a kind of personal point of view, from someone that's had dealings with him. I'm not saying we're extremely close, but it's someone that I really respect.
And just one more from me, Stuart. New striker came in since we last spoke, Tyrese John Jules. Will we see him on Wednesday evening? Yeah, listen, he's obviously behind because of the stage that we're at just now. We've tried to do a little bit of work. He played in a bounce game against Newcastle 2 weeks ago.
and he showed up well, and we quite clearly find ourselves short in an area at the top end of the pitch. We need more options. We need to be able to see if we've got as many twists as we can possibly get. So his attitude's been first class. He's desperate for an opportunity. He's obviously operated at a really high level, and he's someone that's probably taken a step back in his career, and something that I love doing and love trying to do is trying to see if you can pick up on those situations. Sometimes it's not perfect where somebody is in their level of fitness, or where they've been, or not having an opportunity even to be at a football club. So our job now becomes trying to welcome him in here and trying to get the best out of his talent, because he's got talent, he's got quality. We just need to make sure that he shows that on a daily basis. But as I say, his willingness to come in here and go and try and show what he's about has been terrific. And again, it's good that the board here and everyone here at the football club supports us to do that, because it wasn't part of the plan. But as I say, we've been dealt a real tough blow with some of the injuries, so we're trying to give ourselves as many options as we possibly can.